Each month, the film world turns upside down. Now let's pour a glass and talk about it. This is Martini Shot! In today's news, GLAAD releases a study on representation. The law tries to stop Paramount and Warner Brothers. Matt Damon can't seem to get home. And this video game might spell the end for film. Now, here are your hosts, Braydan Kirkland and Cole James.
Welcome so much, everybody, for another incredible episode of Martini Shot just for you at home. My name's Braydan. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined here by Cole James, the wonderful, magnanimous Cole James.
I'm also Braydan.
And also me. Well, it's been another crazy month in the film world, July 2026, and we've got some of the big stories here for you. Let's just get into it. Jump into it. Cole, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about numbers. This is also a numbers show. I'm going to be spouting a bunch of numbers at you, and they all mean something, and they're all very important numbers. Just a few days ago this month, GLAAD released a study on representation, LGBTQ plus representation in 2025 films. They monitored 225 films released by 10 of the most major big film companies, distributors here in the States. Of those 225 films, 46 of them contained LGBTQ plus characters and themes. That is only 20.4%. That's down from 59 of 250 from 2024. That was 23.6%, which is lower than 2023, which is lower than 2022. It's been dipping down just subtly every single year. Just off of that, before we even get into any of these other numbers, how does that strike you? How does that, while you're sitting there, you hear that LGBTQ plus representation in 2025 has dipped, as it has every year since the tracking started. How does that sit with you?
Kind of the thing with these representation things is, while it's good to have representation, these groups are minorities. There aren't as many of them, and a lot of them are required to write these things. And when there aren't as many of these people in our industry, it can be hard to kind of make these stories and movies. Because, I mean, while a straight person could write a gay movie, typically I find that the story is better told from somebody that has gone through those experiences, coming out and doing all of those things. But, you know, they're minorities, and, you know, we all love them, but I think it's just a matter of we need
minorities.
We need more creators, which maybe that's where some studios need to kind of look at hiring more of those people. But I think it could be more of a problem where it's just like we don't have enough people to supply the representation here.
That's a very good point. You know, it's one of those things where we kind of say that we're in a golden age and we're doing better every year, but the numbers aren't really showing that. And I think, it's good for us to kind of realize, we're not doing as well as we've said or maybe thought. Who can we turn to really improve these stories and improve this representation? Well, probably the creatives at the center that know these stories the best. You know, so I think that's a very good point. More numbers, though. They did a very in-depth study we've also seen individual increases in the number of LGBTQ plus characters in these movies, characters of color, and bisexual representation specifically. Also, this number kind of surprised me. Of all 225 films released by major film companies here in America, zero of them included a transgender character. Of all those 225, there were zero trans representation. They've also tracked alignment to the Vito Russo test, which I just learned about. This is very interesting. For those of y'all out there, maybe you've heard of the Bechdel test, which kind of tracks how films represent female women characters. Well, this is kind of the same thing, but for LGBTQ plus characters. The characteristics, the criteria in order to pass the Vito Russo test. Well, obviously you have to have an LGBTQ plus character. This character has to be clearly identifiable. It can't be, like the queer baiting thing where it's like, oh, maybe they are, maybe they're not. No, it has to be very clear up front. The character cannot be solely defined by their orientation or their identity. They have to be, a character with more in-depth personality, with more traits, with flaws, with goals, like a regular standard developed character in a film. They can't just be like a one-note thing. This character has to be significantly tied to the plot, where if you were to remove this character, the plot would change significantly based on having their inclusion removed. And it can't be outwardly offensive or riddled with stereotypes. It has to be an in-depth character that's really trying to get a message across specifically. So, with that in mind, very interestingly, of the films tracked in this study for 2025, 78% of the films including LGBTQ plus characters passed the Vito Russo test, which is up from 2024's 75%. So that's an improvement, right? If you take the bigger picture, that's of the bigger picture of all 225 films in 2025, only only 16% passed that test. 2024 of all of the films, LGBTQ plus and not, about 16%. No. 18% in 2024, 16 in 2025. So overall representation is shrinking, but the quality, I would say, of that representation is increasing. Passing the Vito Russo test is a good sign that these writers are, taking care and making sure that this representation is beneficial, is sending a good message, is quality over quantity, perhaps. Does that strike with you? Quality over quantity of LGBTQ plus representation in that regard?
Well, we should always strive for quality over quantity. Of course, Hollywood doesn't see it that way, but yeah, I mean, you should always go for quality. I also do think there are companies considered to be like allies to the LGBTQ plus cause, which is good. We want that. But when you have companies like Disney making terrible movies that showcase these LGBTQ plus characters, that's not helping the cause. You have to still make a good movie while including the representation. You can't just have representation and call it a day. So,
and that's why I think this Vito Russo test implementation into the studies is important, because I doubt most of the Disney films that include these LGBTQ characters would pass that test, because these characters that are said to be gay, bisexual, or whatever aren't influential on the plot, aren't developed beyond that identity or orientation cause. That's just not really helping the matter. That's tokenism. And that's what I think we get into this double-edged sword of the word representation. Actually, I would like to quote an article from the publication magazine Them, and insert name of the writer of that article because I forgot. It was Caesar something, but we'll put their name and face in it. But the author of this article argues that as soon as representation became a buzzword, this is a direct quote, by the way, as soon as representation became a buzzword, it gave Hollywood an excuse to do less. Because they just had to throw it in, get their empty applause, get that money, which is what they really, really care about, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. And then call it a day. They don't have to do any quality work. It's quantity at that point. Which is probably why, over the past few years, the Vito Russo test numbers have improved from year to year, which is funny because as representation overall in films has gone down, the Vito Russo test passing rate has gone up from all the years that GLAAD has done this study, which we will include below because this is really just a highlight reel of that study. They went down studio by studio and did even more in-depth numbers. There's numbers about even more categories. I would heavily suggest that you look at the entire study. We'll include it below so that you can do your own reading. But yeah, as soon as representation became a buzzword, it gave Hollywood an excuse to do less, which I think is kind of getting at your point that you're saying that this empty tokenism is doing more harm than good. And it's not just about including a character of LGBTQ plus orientation. It's about, giving them a story that really resonates and specifically having a creative force from that lived experience behind the camera, in front of the camera, is doing all the difference.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood likes to learn the most incorrect lessons, whereas it seems to me that they're learning, they don't like representation. No, we don't like bad storytelling. That is almost always the correct answer when it comes to an audience not liking a movie. We don't like bad storytelling, or we don't like bad editing, or we don't like bad cinematography, whatever it is. So it's why the quality can never change, because you can make a movie about whatever you want, and sure, genres, cater to different audiences and whatnot, but if you make a quality movie, there will always be an audience that would want to go see said movie.
Definitely, yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're telling like a genuine story with a genuine message, it has to really come from a place of human. It has to be not defined or mechanized through corporate gears. It has to be born of flesh and blood. And I think people can sniff that out better each year. Can the audiences really tell when a company is trying to be fake and get your attention and just get your money? And I will commend audiences for kind of getting that awareness up. We got some more numbers here. Most of the genre of films that LGBTQ plus characters were included in, and specifically passed the Vito Russo test, the large chunk of those were drama films at 28%, and comedy films close behind at 24%. Kind of makes sense, I feel like when people think of the generic LGBTQ plus film, it's probably a heavy, heartwarming drama film or a tragic drama film, or there's a side character in a comedy film. These are kind of generic expectations, but even still, they are the most popular. The two most interesting parts to me about this were how many were in horror. There was a flourishing of LGBTQ plus characters in horror films in 2025 in both lead capacities and supporting capacities. Just two examples. There was a LGBTQ plus character as the lead in Until Dawn and I Know What You Did Last Summer back in 2025. Both of those characters survived at the end of those films. So they were like the final protagonists, On the other side, there was a gay couple in the film Weapons as a supporting capacity, and they died quite brutally, I might add. But these characters can function in multiple capacities, and you don't have to just like slot them into a role where you think will give you the most brownie points. It can just be where they fit the best, And another interesting, I think there's a reason for why these characters have flourished in horror. Another study published by Nielsen, the numbers company in cable TV, I guess they're still around doing stuff, apparently. But Nielsen stated that horror was a favorite genre among LGBTQ plus fans. So representation in the films they like is a good thing. That's nice. Another big donut, though, in this study, 0 trans representation, 0 LGBTQ plus characters that passed the Vito Russo test in family animated films. That I would include that up among like Disney films of all of your like DreamWorks, like your big kid affairs. There were no LGBTQ plus characters in that passed the Vito Russo test. There were about 19 in children's films overall, but none of them passed the test. Of those information, horror being on the surge of representation, children's animated fare going down. What do you think outweighs in your mind?
With horror, those are usually made by. There's a lot of independent horror filmmaking, and independent filmmaking tends to make quality a lot more often than focusing on quantity. So I think they're probably following kind of your test a bit more closely, whereas kids' movies are kind of just, it's meant for a kid. They probably just don't care, and they're probably just trying to pretend to be an ally by throwing in these characters into a children's movie where it really doesn't matter your sexuality because it's a children's movie and kids don't care about that stuff. So it's just like,
yeah, that's probably true. I also would go on the counter and say, a kid that might be struggling with some of these thoughts and seeing a character that really represents them would be heavily impactful. I've heard stories of similar occurrences where someone that was close in my life was struggling with their identity as a kid, without the sexual kind of thing, but just struggling with who they are, and then they see a children's film that does it right, in quotes, we'll say, and that was a life-changing experience. Or in a book, a character that was healthy representation and really was a life-changing thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we both agree that tokenism and false allyship is just more harm than good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that, yeah. More numbers, and we'll move on to the next topic. It was interesting because GLAAD said that sequels and franchise films released in 2025 that had LGBTQ plus characters actually either minimized or cut those roles entirely in entries released last year. This includes Fear Street, which was a Netflix film trilogy, I don't know how many there ended up being. There was a trilogy of Fear Street films earlier that heavily featured an LGBTQ plus character. And in the film released last year, I believe that role was cut entirely. I'm not really sure. Bridget Jones had a very prominent gay character in the earlier films. In the film they released in that franchise last year, that character was minimized. And then this next one, I don't necessarily agree with, is on the same level. But if you'll recall, in the Benoit Blanc films, Hugh Laurie was introduced as Benoit Blanc's boyfriend in Glass Onion. They said that he did not appear in Wake Up Dead Man, so that was another loss of representation. But I would argue that not only was Hugh Laurie's character little more than a cameo appearance, it also did not pass the Vito Russo test. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like that was kind of strange representation choice.
Hugh Laurie was in Glass Onion?
Yeah.
I guess that proves your point, because I didn't remember him even being in the
exactly.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am not saying that Benoit Blanc should not have this orientation. I mean, watch the movies, for fuck's sake. But I feel like including the boyfriend character, and that character is so like a non-starter. I would encourage Rian Johnson to maybe try to include that character in a more prominent role in the next movie. Not only would I think that would help pass the Vito Russo test and really increase that quality of representation, but it also would probably give Benoit Blanc a bit more characterization. He can kind of focus on that side of his personality. That would be interesting to me. But anyways, I mentioned the Them article. The author also said that representation should, quote, soar above paltry tokenism and halfway steps to real change. Which I think we both kind of touched on multiple times in this. And before we move on, this has been there's some good things happening. There's some poor things happening. You know, decrease in representation is not necessarily a great thing. I just want to give a shout out really quick to Elliot Page, who played a major supporting role in this year's breakout hit that we all saw coming, The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. This was his biggest film role since transitioning in 2020, and by all accounts, was a very good performance as the character Sinan. Just want to give a huge shout out to him, to the film crew and cast, and you know, it's nice to have a little win like that. There was a huge pushback in the media coming up to the film's release about Elliot Page's inclusion, and hopefully the performance will outshine some of these weak criticisms. And by all accounts, it was a very good performance, and I look forward to seeing it on the biggest screen possible. You know, seeing it myself.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet, have you?
Not yet, no. I would like to.
I would like to, too. Yeah. All right. Time to the big story. Cole, remind me, what was the big story in our very first inaugural episode of Martini Shot? What was the story we focused on the most?
Please don't be AI again. Please don't be AI again.
Don't worry. Yeah. Disclaimer, everyone.
I don't want to talk about
this
AI
episode
anymore.
will not be talking about AI at all. I promise you. We're getting into more depressing stuff in other fields, but no AI, I swear.
All right. It's
a big topic in the first episode.
Was it Cannes? No, Cannes was the second episode. It was some film festival. I can't remember.
Actually, no.
Was it not?
It wasn't.
I don't want.
I'm going to stop you right there. Folks, back in April, we touched on the big development of that month, Warner Brothers being bought out by Paramount after a long back and forth between Paramount and Netflix.
That's right.
That battle was finally won by Paramount. Paramount and David Ellison finally got the deal done. Warner Brothers was going to be bought. Further consolidation of the film industry. I actually called it, quote, a true oligopoly. And we weighed the goods and bads. If you haven't seen that episode yet, if you haven't heard about the story, first of all, are you living under a rock? It's okay, though. Just go check it out before you come back to here, because we have a major development over the past few weeks of that story. I'll just go ahead and say the headline up front. That, oh, there we go. That has been blocked. The merger has been blocked by state AGs. So let's go chronologically about this story and touch on what may happen in the future. Is this deal in jeopardy? Let's talk about it. So first of all, Paramount purchased Warner Brothers. Over the past few months and weeks, days, Paramount has been intensely lobbying to get this deal done. Their suggested end date to really finalize everything, to get the deal done, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, was by the end of this month, July. They were actually heavily criticized by the Department of Justice for David Ellison, the CEO, head of Paramount Pictures, Paramount Skydance, I should say, sorry, and his close ties with the current Trump administration in the federal government, which many people said was probably why Paramount had such an easier time getting Warner Brothers deal than Netflix. Probably the case. So the DOJ actually cleared the acquisition, even though outside criticism was mounting. So it looked like Paramount had the clear off-ramp to get this thing done. But just a few weeks ago, lawyers from several states came together and levied a lawsuit against Paramount. This coagulation, this group of lawyers was led by California State Attorney General Rob Bonta. Right? Bonta? I thought it was Banta. It's Bonta. Rob Bonta was the lead AG in this case. These the plaintiffs fear that this deal could harm competition across all of the entertainment and news industry. They were arguing that Paramount would, after acquiring Warner Brothers, they would own too much of the industry. There's actually a number down here. They argued that Paramount and Warner Brothers would own 30% of the film market. 30. That's a lot.
Yeah.
They also said that only 4 companies, would own 93% of the market.
Yeah.
Let's just sit on that for a second. 4 companies owning 93% of the market. Do these numbers strike at you? Does Paramount's over-enthusiasm to get this deal done, does that worry in your mind a little bit about how this company perceives this deal?
Everybody wants to be a monopoly. I mean, that's everybody wants to be the king, right? Like, that's what it is. It's just they want to be on top, just like everybody else in every other industry. It's just like, we don't like it, because then they can, charge whatever they want to go to the theater, or dismantle the theaters entirely, or whatever they want to do. But of course, not necessarily in this case. They still have competition, and after Supergirl, Warner Brothers isn't exactly making or doing the greatest. And I don't know what Paramount's released recently, but they still have to make good movies to compete. So I don't know. I see the argument on both sides. And it's one of those where I'm not an expert, and I don't know what the future is going to hold if the merger goes through. We could end up with movies that are kind of politically influenced, or we could end up with the same. It could go. I could see going either way.
True. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. You don't become a king without rolling a few heads, and to expect a king to behave any differently is just a fool's errand. So, but that's what the plaintiffs were worried about, that these companies would overtake the market, squash the little guy, and just steamroll everybody in sight. So, earlier this year, just a bit of a a bit of a prologue, we'll say. A group of state AGs came together and successfully stalled Nexstar's attempt to buy Tegna, which are two cable broadcast companies. So there is precedent for these groups of lawyers to stop this deal. After the news broke that the lawsuit was levied, Paramount slams this lawsuit, calling it, quote, one of the weakest merger challenges in modern antitrust history. These lawyers also said that the low barriers to expansion make these figures irrelevant. None of this matters. Who gives a shit? Says Paramount's lawyers. Who gives a fuck? Why are you doing this stuff? No one's gonna be hurt. Great legal defense.
Company lawyers, of course they're going to say that.
Yeah. There were reports earlier during the lead up to the hearing that friends and advisors of David Ellison urged him to consider relocating Paramount corporate offices out of California, possibly to New Jersey, where Paramount just purchased a bunch of land. Possibly thinking, if we move corporate, we'll get out of this whole jam. I would like to point out that they have $30 million in planned spending in California that they would have to move in order to get to New Jersey. Cole, when a company says, this is just bullshit. Fuck all this. This noise. Who cares? But then people are saying, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's get out of Dodge and move over halfway, all the way across the country. Where do you think Paramount is kind of sitting? Do you think they're sweating a little bit? Or do you think they're actually the most suave company in the situation?
Okay. The move could just be trying to get out of California. Because California is expensive as hell to live in. So
the timing is very interesting that these people came to say this now. They didn't say this before. They're saying it now.
But, I mean, like, I don't know. I could also just see it being, like, California, because, dude, everything I've heard about California is it is pricey there. I'm sure taxes are going to be so much better in New Jersey, otherwise they wouldn't be considering this move. I'm sure you're going to fact check me on that. But I mean, to move HQ, it also might be just a move to help them look more separated from everybody else, from everything, and that might help create a certain reputation, maybe, or a certain image for them. Maybe that's kind of what they're hoping for. But I mean,
I did fact check you.
Uh-huh.
You are correct. The tax breaks in New Jersey are less.
Mm-hmm.
But it is worth mentioning that California and New Jersey are two of the top tax states in the country. California's tax rate is 13.3%, whereas New Jersey's is 10.75%. So it's an improvement, but it's not a significant one. Why would you, if that's the reason, why not go somewhere else?
I wonder if there's a filmmaking tax break in New Jersey, because there used to be one in Georgia before they abolished it. So I wonder if there's other like filmmaking cost cuts that they can make in New Jersey that they can't anywhere else. Because I know Netflix was making moves in New Jersey as well. So it could be one of those situations, which you're fact checking me on right now as well.
Yeah.
But it I don't know. I mean, yeah, the lawyers are they're just doing their best because, I mean, everybody knows this is clearly going to be pretty close to a monopoly in the film industry because they're two giants merging together. But, you know, their lawyers are just like, No, we're not.
No.
And that's it. Yeah. So it's just like that's all they can
Your
do.
Honor, no.
Nuh-uh. So, of course they're gonna.
But Your Honor, that's a fail.
Of course they're gonna try. They're gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't be suing us because they don't want to pay money." They don't want to pay money. So
yeah, you know what? I agree. It could be completely coincidental that this is happening at the same time.
Could be
that the corporate office is considering moving. It could be, but I also do think it. Regardless, it's still interesting that the timing of these developments. This also comes at a time where there's some mixed baggage overseas with this deal. UK's culture minister, Lisa Nandy, has floated the idea of blocking the merger across the pond. But the European Commission is expected to approve the deal. So they're facing opposition and support even overseas from all sides. This isn't just like a US-only deal. Just a few days ago, as of recording of this episode on Wednesday, July 22nd, this episode will probably go up on Monday. So if there's any further developments, we will try to include it before the episode goes up. But as of Wednesday, just a few days ago, federal judge Araceli Martinez Ogwin heard the case and ordered a temporary halt on the deal of Paramount and Warner Brothers. Wow. Oh, wow. Crazy. She said, quote, plaintiffs demonstrated that serious questions going into the merit of this deal remain. This is a 14-day restraining order on any of the proceedings of this deal. It could be extended up to 28 days if all parties agree to that. Also, the preliminary injunction hearing is set for August 3rd, but could also be pushed back based on all parties agreeing to it. It should be worth noting that in the past, companies that could not survive an injunction hearing usually just fall apart completely. The deal gets thrown to the wayside. But if they survive and win the injunction hearing, companies in the past have successfully merged without any further opposition. So this could be the deciding factor. Cole, judge says, let's stop on this for 2 weeks and then reconvene. Where does that leave you?
I don't know, but I've also never understood courts taking for fucking ever, so it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah. Maybe they just need to have another look-see. I do feel like Warner Brothers and Paramount's kind of merger went a little too smoothly. Like nobody seemed to question them, and nobody with authority seemed to question it. So
yeah, I mean, like Netflix had a whole barrage when they announced it, and then when Paramount was like, we'll do it, and everyone's like, all right.
Yeah, so nobody questioned it, and so for a judge to be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And now they're okay, maybe we should question it. And we're just like, okay, I mean, you're a little late, but sure, go ahead. Let's see it.
I do think it's a little bit telling that the sands of the laws in the courts, that it here today, the corporations can get in front of a lawyer quicker than, I don't know, like a murder trial or something. Like they gotta wait months and months, and with this corporate trial is going to be like just a few weeks. So, I mean, it clearly can be done quickly, but who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
After the hearing, Rob Bonta, State AG of California, said that this temporary restraining order was, quote, a critical first win. Happy about that. But I should also note, a new challenger arises not even a few hours ago after recording this episode. As we're recording this episode, the Writers Guild of America filed a motion to stop the merger days after the temporary restraining order was granted. This is fun because in that first episode, the very first story we talked about was the Writers Guild of America and then Paramount. So it's like those two things are coming together. It's like a multiverse, a Martini Shot multiverse of film news coming together.
That's right.
But yeah, this motion filed by the WGA included statements from screenwriters David Coep, Adam McKay, and Mike Schur on how options have dwindled for screenwriters in the past, or as companies have continued to merge. And I saw that. Talk to me how you're feeling about that.
Where the fuck were you 3 or 4 months ago? Like, what the fuck? Why now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad because I also had complaints about these three guys. Yeah. First of all, where the fuck were you earlier? Second of all, actually, I want to see if I can pull up a direct quote. So keep them entertained while I pull up this direct quote that really pissed me off.
Also, just kind of like, are the other guilds going to join in on this too late as well? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is...
It's telling that they haven't done so far.
I mean, like, is the Directors Guild going to come in and be like, you know what, we agree with the Writers Guild? I doubt it, but I mean, I just don't understand. It's just so late. Like, they waited for them to be like, okay, we're buying this, and then waited another, like, couple months after that. And I'm just like, what? What do you mean? What are you saying? Why are you, like... I don't know. But Hollywood is just dumb sometimes.
Where is it? If I can't find it really quick, I'm just gonna... It's very dumb.
As much as I would love to join the Writers Guild someday.
Yeah, I can't find it. But basically, basically, David Coep was saying that it's so hard these days to find a studio that will approve a high budget, film with big A-list actors and whatever, blah, 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 all the special effects. It's just so hard to find a studio who will do a movie script like that. And I'm like, fuck! There are writers who, no offense, are infinitely more talented than you, Mr. Coep. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. That are struggling to even get a seat at the table, and you're complaining that you can't do $200 million budget movies all the time. Where is the fight for the little guy? Where's the fight for writers like, let's just say, for instance, off the top of my head, you and me, people that aren't even at the table yet, who have good ideas, maybe, debatably. Even like I will even go back to first story, LGBTQ plus representation. Perhaps those
oh boy
have dwindled because LGBTQ plus writers are being shunned. Possibly. So write your big fancy movies. Do better. That's what I'll say.
You're back.
What? Did I go away?
For a second, yeah. Everything was... I got everything you said, but you went away for a second. It's okay.
My faith went away. Okay,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what I said. That's fine. But the last detail that I would like to include is that Paramount argues that brands would still operate independently. They said that after the merger is finalized, Warner Brothers would still act as Warner Brothers, apart from Paramount, which would still act as Paramount. And they argued they would make even more films and TV shows, which I'm like, are you sure about that? This is contrary to some studies, and popular belief is that they're probably going to make less movies, less TV shows after this merger. Well, where do you think? After all of this information has been laid out on the table, where do you stand
on if they make good stuff? Because that's going to depend on if they make good money.
As long as they make good stuff, buddy.
If they make good money, then yeah, they'll make more stuff. If they make less money, then they won't make as much stuff. So that's just... It's an industry. It's a business. It's designed to make money. And, if they do the merger and they kind of... test the waters first, then
that
they test the waters first. Oh? Okay, so they'll either make more movies if they're making more money, or they'll make less movies and TV if they make less money. That's kind of the thing with this whole industry. It's just like every industry, it's a business, and they're designed to make money. And if they make good stuff, they'll make more money, and then they'll make more stuff. Otherwise, it'll be the opposite. I don't really think that the merger necessarily is going to affect whether they do or don't. It's just now the money is being pooled towards one spot because they're merging.
Yeah, and I agree with that practical approach of the numbers money side. If they're going to listen to the money, and I believe I've said this in every episode of Martini Shot so far. Your loudest voice in this world is your wallet. Your loudest voice is your wallet. That's how you're gonna get things done the way you think is the right. And so they will listen to what you say with the tickets you purchase. And if you think that this Warner Brothers Paramount thing is not your style, maybe don't go see a Warner Brothers Paramount movie or something like that. They will listen, They are going to, when their bank account starts to hurt a little bit, they will fall in line, typically. And I am a loud critic of companies breaking antitrust laws, consolidation. I just think it's bad news all around when few people have the most power in the world, especially when it comes to corporations. I just think it's bad news. I don't think Warner Brothers, frankly, should be purchased by anyone. I don't even know why they're up for sale, to be honest. So I feel like I should do some research on that. Why is Paramount even being considered to be bought? They're not doing terribly money-wise. They could go along as themselves for a while. I guess they just want the more money from Netflix, from Paramount, whatever. But, Warner Brothers, just do your thing, man. You don't have to be defined by anyone else. You do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
So I believe, Cole, you have a couple stories for me to comment on. What have you got for us today?
I got some fun things today. I'm so excited.
I love it. Let's do it.
One of them is more of a joke than the actual story, but as of the Odyssey's release, Hollywood has spent $600 million trying to bring Matt Damon home. Starting with Saving Private Ryan, going to Interstellar, The Martian, and now The Odyssey. You're confused. He wasn't Interstellar.
I forgot that for a second.
Saving Private Ryan had a budget of $70 million. Interstellar had a budget of $165 million. Martian had a budget of $108 million. And The Odyssey had $250 million budget. So, not quite $600 million, but just about there. And I'm sure his next movie, he will be stranded on some deserted island. And that will be crossing the finish line to the $600 million mark. Do you hope that Matt Damon gets to go home someday?
God, I really do hope so. I know it's a struggle to be away from your family and the people you love, and whether it's doing a helpful mission for the planet by planting potatoes on Mars, or being stuck in a war zone and needing Tom Hanks to pull you out of the rubble. Tom Hanks was in Saving Private Ryan, right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm. Yeah. Or if it's you angered the sea god Poseidon, and you have to go on a 10-year journey throughout the seas and monsters and stuff. I just hope Matt Damon. We here at Martini Shot hope that you get home soon. And we will do anything in our power to make sure that you get to stay home with your family shortly. Yes. I feel like I know he said in past interviews that he would only pick up the phone to act again if Christopher Nolan called. And sure enough, Christopher Nolan called back to back for Oppenheimer and the Odyssey.
Yep.
So I think it would be funny if like he's like, all right, for real though, I'm done. I'm retiring for acting for a bit after Oppenheimer. And I know I said if Christopher Nolan calls, I would pick up, but he better offer me the greatest role in fiction history, or I'm out of here. Yep. And then Nolan calls like, you want Odysseus? Everyone wants Odysseus, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is a really interesting point because, as you said before, Hollywood loves patterns. Mm-hmm. So let's be real, these like adventure plots where someone's trying to get home isn't new. It's actually one of the oldest story structures in general. I mean, even the original Odyssey, one of the first recorded epic poems, stories, narratives back in ancient Greece, follows that pattern. And, you know, many popular films have focused on this story. But it's interesting that Matt Damon specifically is at the center of these. And not only is he in like a leading role in these movies, but he's always the one that needs to be brought home. Because in Saving Private Ryan and Interstellar, he is not the lead. He's just like the MacGuffin, in a sense, that spurs the plot. And whereas in The Martian and The Odyssey, he is the one leading the adventure or being stranded or whatnot. And so, yeah, obviously Hollywood's like, okay, A, these return home stories are doing well. B, Matt Damon is a popular, well-adjusted, talented actor. C, Matt Damon does pretty well in these stories where he has to go home. Let's just bang, 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 keep going and beat it to death, basically. When do you think that the pattern stops? Probably when Matt Damon literally goes to his house and is like, nah, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
There was I read a report that Matt Damon on the first day of set of the Odyssey, or at least the first day where they had to walk a good ways on the set of the Odyssey, when Matt Damon like trekked all the way up to set, he looked behind and realized that all the other actors were carrying their own costumed armor to the set, and he looks to the other side and realizes that his personal assistant was the one carrying his armor, and he was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that, I'm not gonna let that happen anymore. So from there on, he carted his own armor to set, however long of a journey of a hike. And, you know, not that acting is a difficult job, let's be real. There are many more jobs that are difficult, but carting armor every day across however many miles, if I had the opportunity to retire, I might be calling it after that.
I'm going to say acting is hard. It's just not as hard as certain other things.
Yeah. I'm not saying that acting isn't a difficult job. I'm just saying actor, brain surgeon, rocket scientist, wartime journalist, you know?
Yeah.
Not really the same.
Fair. Of course, you could say that about any creative industry versus a scientific industry. So,
and I have many times.
Yeah, so have I.
I don't pretend that I'm the most important person on the planet and that I'm as necessary as some of these other jobs. But again, giving credit to Mr. Damon and the rest of the Odyssey cast, Mr. Nolan, I guess that was just part of the getting into character, you know, carting the armor halfway across Greece and Italy and stuff. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Very interesting to think that. And let me look up the box office of the Odyssey so far, because I know it's made huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to get that.
Yeah. This is kind of just a running joke where actors tend to play kind of very similar characters. It's kind of like
being typecast.
Maybe being typecast. It's kind of like what is her name? Who plays hang on, Doctor Strange cast. Rachel McAdams is a time traveler's wife, essentially. She
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all
It's
she
really
does.
funny.
It's really funny. I didn't know you could be typecast as that, but that is all she does.
We should do something like that where we get into like the really specific typecasting because
Yeah.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
I do have the numbers.
Okay.
$124.5 million domestically here in the States, $264.1 million globally. That is surpassing The Dark Knight Rises' $249 million opening weekend, which is now the Odyssey is Nolan's largest opening weekend, and was the third largest opening weekend of 2026 behind Toy Story 5 and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And it's not showing any signs of stopping. I specifically think word of mouth about this movie is going to do it huge amounts of favors. You know, people raving about this movie from here to whoever. I've not read many bad reviews about this movie. Everyone shouting, go see this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's one of those, like, one of the more recent water cooler moments that I've noticed in film. Besides, you know, the last one, what was it? Barbenheimer, I think, was the last one where it's like, you got to go do this. And everyone's talking about the Odyssey in the same way, especially with regards to the premium large formats, IMAX. So it's probably going to sail all the way to the largest film gross of the year, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll cross the $1 billion threshold. I don't know. I would not bet against it crossing $1 billion, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
But not only does Hollywood spend a lot of money to get Matt Damon home, people pay a lot of money to watch Matt Damon struggle to get home.
That's right. Yeah. And I will say, I saw a comparison photo, maybe Billy can put that up, of the aspect ratio differences on IMAX versus regular. You miss a good chunk of what's on camera. It's insane how much space you lose if you go regular. So try and see it in on an IMAX screen if you can.
I would heavily encourage that. The last IMAX screening that I saw was Avatar 3, which did not like that movie personally, but after seeing that in IMAX and then seeing the cropped version on like streaming, it's like this is not the filming experience, the film viewing experience that I want. It's definitely not the one that Cameron wants for me, James Cameron wants for me, and it's just why. You know why? Why can't every screen be an IMAX screen? That would what a beautiful utopia that would be, you know?
Anyway, before we run out of time, my bigger story. History is about to be made this year. We are having an event that is going to shake the entire entertainment industry. Grand Theft Auto 6 is being released November 19th as of July 22nd on Wednesday, as of this recording. Now, the rumor is everybody, including the film industry, is concerned about this release date and everybody going to purchase the game and not go out to see movies. So people are, and this is a rumor that I cannot confirm, unfortunately, but people are changing their release dates to kind of deal with the release of Grand Theft Auto 6. To kind of commemorate movies that could have released in November but didn't, I have a list of these movies that possibly released earlier as a result of this game coming out. The first one, which we've talked about on this show before, is Michael, the biopic of Michael Jackson, which I just believe did very well.
It made bank. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it crossed $1 billion. Actually, let me double check that.
While you double check that, next, The Mandalorian and Grogu, another one. We have...
Yes, it did.
It did make bank. Okay. Which Mandalorian and Grogu, I could not compete with Michael. I believe it was released at a similar time. The Odyssey... which, you know, maybe they rushed work on that to release this year, or to release this summer instead of in November. Toy Story 5. Oh, I didn't even know about this. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. So there's an anime movie being released. Scary Movie 6, which is actually, they've done this before, because Scary Movie 5, I believe, released earlier because of Grand Theft Auto 5.
That's wow.
So Scary Movie 6 is doing it again, essentially.
That's funny that, like, the legacy reboot of a film franchise is coming out at the same time, in the same gap as, you know, a standalone sequel. That just tells you how long Grand Theft Auto has been on hiatus between entries.
That's right. James Gunn's Clayface is going to be released.
Exciting.
The Street Fighter movie. And then, of course, we got Avatar a year ago. And some of these are based on before the delays of Grand Theft Auto 6, because a lot of people thought it was going to be released last year. And then it was May. So, hard to say on some of these. And then we have the Mario Galaxy movie. So, lots of movie releases. Lots of them not in November. So just kind of funny to think about. I do believe that there is some truth to the rumor, because... Oh,
I agree.
People have been waiting over a decade for this video game, and it is supposed to be technologically... It's supposed to essentially reset everything. It's going to change... The gaming industry will be changed after this game is released. It's a multi-billion-dollar project. So... Do you have
I would just like to
thoughts?
I would just like to add on to that. It's no wonder that film companies are trying to avoid releasing simultaneously with Grand Theft Auto 6. Not only is Grand Theft Auto 6 probably one of the most highly anticipated entertainment entries this decade, I would argue. People have been waiting for this fervently for a very, very long time, to the point where it became a meme how long they were waiting. That's so pervasive that people that aren't even familiar with Grand Theft Auto got in on the hype of Grand Theft Auto 6. Now they're claiming that it's going to change the gaming industry. You know, that's a big promise. Like, I know there was a lot of hype around the Odyssey being the first the first movie filmed entirely with IMAX cameras. I wouldn't want to go up against the Odyssey based on that fact alone. And some more numbers for you. Video gaming industry earned in 2025 about $522.5 billion. In comparison, the film industry last year made about $112 to $136 billion. So it's been a long time, the past few years, that the video gaming industry has been the highest grossing entertainment sector in year to year. And the film industry is having trouble competing. And when you have a stalwart, like, tentpole moment in the gaming industry like Grand Theft Auto 6, you get out of the way. There's no way you can compete. People are going to be, and I would even argue, like, months after November, give the players time to finish the game before you come out with your movie, you know, because they're still going to be stuck in their house they're going to be like 100%ing. Is there an online mode for Grand Theft Auto 6?
Don't know.
I imagine so.
Don't know. I would probably, hopefully.
Maybe, maybe not. But if there is an online mode, people are probably going to be playing that a lot. And, you know, it's going to be one of those things where I would actually, even if Grand Theft Auto 6 fails to deliver on the promise of the hype, even if Grand Theft Auto fails to deliver the sweeping cultural gaming industry changes it's promising, and even if, like, it crashes and burns, which I don't believe it will, let's go back to Cyberpunk 2077. That game was almost dead on arrival, but still, a lot of people bought it, and a lot of people played it for a while. Me being one of them, I played that game. And it was awful when it came out because it was so buggy and nothing was there. But you still had a good time. And when they finally came and updated it, it became fun again. But even if Grand Theft Auto 6 is dead on arrival, people are still going to be playing it, and I guarantee people's patience may be a little higher for Grand Theft Auto 6 than other games, say No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077. What was the other one that EA released? The robot one?
Oh, Anthem.
Anthem, yeah. I think the patience for Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be higher than all of those gaming stalwarts. Yeah. Even though now those are pretty popular to play with, I think people are going to stick around with Grand Theft Auto 6. Even still, movie companies might want to just get out of the way.
Yep, and they would want to get out of the way even past January, I would want to say, because this November release is a digital-only release. The disc release won't happen until early to mid-December, I believe. So,
ouch.
Some people are going to be waiting to play the game until December, which could mean that they're not even done in January. So,
and to be fair, that is around Oscar season where the award hopefuls release. They're not usually looking to make bank, but yeah, I think that will be interesting to track. That'll be interesting to track to see how those movies, the Oscar hopefuls, perform when Grand Theft Auto is maybe dominating the conversation space. Will that impact movies with Oscar hopes' chances? Because people are too busy focused on Grand Theft Auto 6? I don't know. It's important. I think it's, of those movies, it's important to note that Dune Part 3 is scheduled to release this December. A movie that not only has high award hopes, but also the past two films in the franchise have grossed a lot of money. And they're going up against that Grand Theft Auto second wave. Will it be impacted? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Will they move their release date? Probably not, but it would be interesting to see if they do attempt to move it up, move it back. Let's see.
Yeah, I think they're definitely banking on that initial wave being done, but yes.
We're about to wrap up here, and for our last segment of the episode, we usually say what movies we're excited about for the next month, but we wanted to try something a little bit differently. I have a very quick flash round of questions that I will ask Cole to comment on very, very briefly for like one sentence or two, and we'll end it off with some of the smaller stories of the month. So, boom, let's hit it. Wes Anderson is set to screen his debut film Bottle Rocket in the hometown Houston in efforts to preserve a historic theater, Garden Oaks. Cole, what do you make that?
Wes Anderson's kind of a legend. He'll probably have a good screening. I hope for the best for him, actually.
Yeah, everyone in the Houston area, go check out Bottle Rocket at Garden Oaks. Bottle Rocket's a very delightful movie. I would encourage you to go see it in a really cool theater with a really cool guy. Days of Thunder 2 is set to be released in 2027 with director Jonathan Levin, star Tom Cruise, and distributor Paramount. Cole, why are they making Days of Thunder 2?
I didn't know that there was a Days of Thunder 1, so I have no idea why they're making this. But Tom Cruise is a great action actor, and he's actually been in a few non-action roles, so I'm sure it'll turn out at least decent at worst. So,
yeah, Days of Thunder was a racing film from the early to mid 2000s. It seems pretty late. Seems like it's trying to capitalize on the Top Gun Maverick space, but Days of Thunder was not nearly as good as the first Top Gun, which I was not a big fan of. And yeah, it's always funny when Tom Cruise shows his acting prowess and then goes back to making these action movies. Like, he'll be coming out with Digger in October where he looks like he's actually gunning for an Oscar, and then he's just going to go back to making Days of Thunder 2, which, I mean, kudos to him. He has all the power. He can do whatever he wants, and people will go flock to see it, I'm sure. I know I said I wouldn't mention AI, but I have to just mention briefly Tilly Norwood, an AI actor, is set to make her major feature debut with Particle 6's dramedy Misaligned. Cole, do you think people will even care about this?
I think people will clown on it.
Yeah, I think so too. People clowned on Tilly Norwood when she was debuted as an actor that people could hire, and it seems like they had to make their own movie with Tilly Norwood in order to kind of kick it off. I don't think it's going to go well, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Elon Musk, another AI story. Elon Musk claims that his AI service, Grok, will create a, quote, historically accurate reinterpretation of the Odyssey by the year's end. Cole, do you even think this will happen by the end of the year?
I don't think anybody will care enough by the end of the year. Actually, I don't think anybody will care enough now. So, have fun, Elon, I guess. Yeah. Enjoy your shitty Odyssey.
No one was clamoring for Elon Musk's response to the Odyssey. No one was clamoring for Elon Musk to get behind the camera, let alone get behind the AI program. Elon, maybe just sit this one out, bud. Yeah. Even Ben Shapiro said the Odyssey was a good movie. Maybe sit this one out. Yeah. La La Land is set to screen films across the country for its 10th anniversary. They marked this by fixing Ryan Gosling's oft-maligned wrist in the poster. Ryan Gosling said he never liked this wrist motion, so they fixed it to be upright. Cole, what do you think of that?
I've seen that in an interview where he was like, oh, I'm going to be so cool doing this. And then he saw it. He was like, oh, shit. But no, anytime a movie is rescreened in the theaters, always take that opportunity to go try and see it. I've gotten to go see movies from the 90s this year that I never would have gotten to see normally. So what was the Ed Norton, Brad Pitt? Fight Club. I got to see Fight Club, which was my first experience with Fight Club, and I enjoyed it very much. So whether you've seen the movie already on your TV through streaming, go check it out in the theater. It will be a much better experience.
Kudos to the graphic designers for doing Ryan Gosling a solid. I kind of want to see what he says after they fix the hand. B, it's not that bad. I didn't mind this. Like, Ryan Gosling has a weird obsession with that. It looked fine on the poster. And C, La La Land is one of my favorite movies of all time. Please go see it in theaters. I will be there. It'll be coming around August. Go check it out in your local theater. What a wonderful movie. I never got a chance to see it on the big screen. I will be seeing it. I hope to see you there. This is one of a moment of silence. I want to give a moment of silence to some of the actors that have passed in the past month. Sam Neill, large Australian performer in Jurassic Park and other franchises, has sadly passed away. His last film role in the black comedy fantasy film The Fox is set to be released sometime soon, so please be on the lookout for that and go check it out to honor one of our standout performers of his generation. Also, Kaylee Hoddle, a breakout deaf actress in Kong vs. Godzilla, I believe, tragically passed away at 18 years old. Just want to give a very brief moment of silence for them and some of the others that I might have missed this month. You will be missed. Rest in peace. And give the family privacy and respect and your best wishes. Yeah. All right. I think that's good. Adam Driver has said, Kevin Feige, producer of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has said that it has become a tradition of Adam Driver passing on MCU roles. Cole, do you think Adam Driver will ever be in the MCU at this point?
No. Adam Driver is mainly in artsy movies. I think he regrets doing Star Wars, and I think he's going to stick to doing artsy movies.
After how much flack people gave him for what was a pretty good performance in the trilogy films, he was probably one of the best standouts of those. He was one of the shining moments of those films, and people gave him shit nonstop. Why would he clamor for that position again?
Yeah.
I think he would have to be offered a hell of a lot of money and a hell of a good role, akin to something like Moon Knight for Oscar Isaac, something really fun that he could sink his teeth in. But otherwise, not happening. Sorry, Kevin. Avengers Doomsday finally released their trailer for their film coming out later this year. Cole, have you seen the trailer? What do you think of it?
I've seen the trailer. I think it's stupid to hide a trailer. That's your whole marketing thing. Why the fuck would you hide your commercial? But, whatever. I thought it was a very interesting trailer. I hope to God they just kind of kill everybody so that they can reboot this mess that they've created. But But I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hopefully that'll be good. And hopefully Deadpool and Wolverine will be in Doomsday, because that'll be the highlight for me.
Sure. I was not that impressed with the trailer of the movie. Did not give me any sense of excitement or joy about seeing the movie. And it feels how far Marvel has kind of fallen with the big event films. That Infinity War and Endgame filled me with so much personal flavor, and I felt nothing with the Doomsday trailer. But it's not that Marvel is completely out, because the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailers have got me really excited. Like, I didn't expect to be excited about that movie, but I'm like, it looks genuinely pretty good. So I think Marvel focusing on Brand New Day hype as opposed to Doomsday hype probably is an indication that they think Brand New Day is going to be maybe a better movie than Doomsday. Having Brand New Day in the summer blockbuster season, Doomsday at the end of the year, might be a bit of an indication. Taylor Sheridan, most famous for making a bajillion Yellowstone series on Paramount Plus, is making a Call of Duty film. And he said his film will be set in the Modern Warfare universe. Cole, Taylor Sheridan making Call of Duty movie, Modern Warfare, what do you even have to say anything other than
fuck off? There's no way.
If I'm not mistaken, I do think it's important to note that Taylor Sheridan wrote the Sekiro movies, or he's written action films in the past, but he's been preoccupied with his Yellowstone stuff in recent.
Sekiro?
Was it not Sekiro? No. Whoa. What did he write? Taylor.
Yeah, because that's something different.
He wrote Hell or High Water. That's right.
Okay.
Hell or High Water. Sicario. I said Sekiro. It's Sicario.
Oh, Sicario. Yeah.
Yeah. He wrote both of those, by the way.
Did he write Lioness with Zoe Saldana?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was as well.
Based on what I've heard about that show, I haven't seen it, but what I've heard about it, there is a chance that he can nail Captain Price, Soap, Ghost, and can't remember the other dude, but
yeah,
Soap McTavish, yeah, but I don't know. Call of Duty has been beat to death. That game is in trouble, actually, I'm pretty sure right now, because their last release was terrible. So
yeah. These characters are beloved in this specific sect of the Call of Duty franchise. No one's really been clamoring for a Call of Duty movie since the 2010s. I don't know why we're doing this now. We're about 12 years too late. But go off, King, I guess. Don't ruin it. Everyone loves McTavish. Everyone loves Ghost. Like, don't fuck it up for people. Coleman Domingo is in talks to write a live-action Tiana film. Tiana, the princess, protagonist from Princess and the Frog. Where does that sit with you?
Like a live action? Or just another...
A live action.
For fuck's sake, dude. Why do we need another one? Dude, you literally Snow White... okay, alright, it's fine. No, it's fine.
I agree. We don't need more live action. If he was going to write a Tiana animated movie that's like not the same story, then I'm like, oh, maybe, because Princess and the Frog was one of their better properties of this century. Maybe, but I don't know. Coleman Domingo, I kind of trust you, so don't ruin it, I guess. I don't know. Batman, the Batman, Part 2, has been delayed again. Where does that land with you? Well, do you think this movie will ever get out this year, next year, 2029?
I'd rather they delay it and have a better chance of it coming out good than just kind of rush through the work they need to get done. Kind of the same logic as Cyberpunk. If they had delayed that game, they might have actually had a chance at release. Yeah.
It does fill me with much love and heart in my heart that they delayed the pre-production to get the script right. So it does seem like Matt Reeves and the team is really working to get this movie right. And the camera test footage they released a couple weeks ago looked cool. So I'm sure this movie will be great. Take the time that you need. Don't rush it. Danny McBride, probably most known for his comedic television shows like Eastbound and Down and The Righteous Gemstones, is set to write and direct a G.I. Joe reboot film. I think it's kind of interesting, but I'll remind you that Danny McBride was a writer on all three of the Halloween films from 2018 to 2023, which that first Halloween in 2018 was pretty good. The other two, not so much, but Danny McBride doing G.I. Joe, where does that land with you?
It depends on if he's a fan of G.I. Joe or not. If he is a fan, then and I mean like super fan, a lot of times those tend to come out better than if he wasn't. But I also don't know a ton about G.I. Joe. I know that they made, I think, two or three of those live action movies a while back.
Ones.
Yeah, so hard to say. I just remember there being a couple of ninjas or something.
Yeah. I think Danny McBride was originally a screenwriter. Then he got hired on as the director as well. It just reminds me of the Social Reckoning thing where Aaron Sorkin was brought on as a writer. And then when David Fincher didn't want to come back, I guess, or they couldn't find a director, Aaron Sorkin also became the director of that film, which there was some backlash, not backlash, but there was some wariness about Aaron Sorkin being the director of the film. But from the trailers and from some of the hype before the movie's been released, it seems like it'll be okay. So maybe a similar situation with Danny McBride. We'll have to wait and see. And to end it off, just one of the weird headlines I saw. IMAX is partnering with an immersive entertainment system in China to develop self-driving cars.
What?
Those buzzwords, where does that sit with you? Yeah.
What the fuck? What did you just say to me?
I'll repeat it again. IMAX is partnering with an immersive entertainment system company in China to develop self-driving cars.
IMAX the movie.
IMAX the movie thing.
Okay.
Billy, include a screen grab of the Hollywood Reporter article for that. And put that link like towards the top so people can read it.
Dude,
all I got is the headline for you. Any reaction beyond what the fuck?
If IMAX and the Chinese want to make a self-driving car, go for it, dude. I don't really give a fuck. I didn't expect that. but if that's one of the weirdest
headlines I've seen in a while. This kind of matches the pause I had when I read AI-generated 70s porn at Cannes Film Festival. This has like the same like nothing burger sense of grab at you. IMAX develops self-driving cars with Chinese company. Okay. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel about that, but that's going to do it for us here today with Martini Shot. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Braydan Kirkland. This is Cole James. Hopefully, come back next month in August to see us do some more film news of the month. Stay frosty, folks. Goodbye. Hey.